Hello, my name is Manish Dalwadi, and I'm a second-year MBA student and Center for Digital Strategies Fellow at the Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth. I'm pleased to welcome Dartmouth alumnus Peter DeSantis, General Manager of Amazon EC2 at Amazon.com, who is joining us today to discuss cloud computing as part of the BRIT Technology Impact Series. Welcome to Tuck, Peter, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I think let's dive right into the questions. You've said in the past that Amazon has been working on cloud technologies for a long time, even before it was apparent that it would be a growing business. Can you explain?
As part of our efforts to scale our development efforts in the early 2000s, and Amazon at the time had a single code base that all of our developers worked on. It provided the functionality for the website, the functionality for customer service, the functionality for our distribution centers. And this was very common for software development at the time. Amazon continued to hire and hire as we had more ideas and wanted to push our innovation and grow our business. And as a result, we needed to find a way to scale our development. And we embarked on a pretty large project at the time to refactor that code base into services. And this was kind of a tech trend that was just starting to get momentum. And we sort of embraced it wholeheartedly, refactored that code base into hundreds of services owned by dozens of teams. And what this allowed us to do is let those teams work very independently, not have to coordinate tightly with other groups, innovate, and grow. And this worked out really well for us. But as a consequence, one of the things that became apparent was that all of these groups faced very similar challenges with building services, with managing their infrastructure, with dealing with scale, dealing with persistence. And so we saw an opportunity internally to actually apply our service mentality even further and turn infrastructure itself and persistence and databases into services. And that's really where our thinking around what is now called cloud computing began. And we really discovered at that time, through some not too revolutionary thinking, that these problems that we're facing internally are the same sorts of problems that developers faced externally, startups faced, groups within large enterprises faced when they were trying to provision infrastructure and scale their services and build services. And so we decided at that time to take a bigger chunk, take a bigger bite out of the pie and actually build these things in a way that they can be externalized as the services you see today.
Oh, very interesting. So many customers and enterprises see risks with cloud computing and perhaps only some of the potential benefits. What would be your elevator pitch for the virtues of cloud for either consumers or enterprises?
Absolutely. To me, it's all about opportunity cost. A lot of folks are looking at the actual cost of infrastructure, and there I believe that if people truly factor in all of their costs, the cost of people, the cost of operations, the cost of maintaining their systems, that the arguments for cloud computing win out. But in addition to that, I think what's often under-evaluated is the opportunity cost. And internally, if you have a small startup, you're taking some of your intellectual horsepower and applying it to problems that don't differentiate your business in any way, shape, or form. And so really wasting, the hardest thing to do is to get things done as a startup, to hire people. And if you're taking even 5% of your workforce and focusing them on issues that don't differentiate you in any way from your competitors, that's a waste.
Cloud computing can reduce upfront IT costs. This would seem to make it easier for entrepreneurs to bring disruptive products and services to market. Can you give us 2 examples of that occurring?
Yeah, there's any number of examples of that occurring. I think we've had some great public success stories in terms of small companies, startups that have really done things that they traditionally wouldn't be able to do. A great example that also involves a former Dartmouth alum is Animoto, and there's pretty good case studies that detail what they've been able to do, taking advantage of the services. But also, a trend that we're seeing today that's kind of recent is a lot of companies are trying to work on big data problems where they have large data sets that they historically have not been able to do anything with. And we see a lot of opportunity where companies are coming in and either building big data tools for themselves on this infrastructure that they can't replicate easily internally, or actually building tools and starting companies around on building these tools that help companies take advantage of this big data. And so there's quite a bit going on, and I think we'll continue to see more and more problems kind of gravitate towards the cloud. And when they do, I think you'll see the pace of innovation kind of steps up rapidly.
So So what do you see as some of the biggest challenges as we move towards that adoption?
There's a lot of challenges in terms of taking legacy software, that was is used to being coddled and hand managed internally, and taking that and putting it into a more dynamic environment. People are having great success with that. A lot of what we've done with EC2 allows people to take these what you might call legacy apps and treat and adopt some of the benefits of the cloud by moving them into EC2. But I also think you're seeing that as people start to understand the environment and the things the environment lets you do easily, you're seeing a lot of these legacy applications being re-engineered. And as that continues, I think the pace of adoption will accelerate along with it. So in the short term, I think the challenge of moving these legacy apps over is probably the biggest challenge. But even there's a lot of success happening.
Okay, great. Peter, on behalf of the Center for Digital Strategies at Tuck, I would like to thank you again for speaking with us today. We appreciate your insights. This has been Manish Dalwadi for the Center of Digital Strategies at the Tuck School of Business. Thank you.